Alright, it has been a bloody long time, but finally, after many attempts, and I did finish it, let's go through this. I've had a lot of questions, inquiries over the years about what happened to the Rockstar. We'll go over that, but as an RTR, it wasn't that simple, especially a Rockstar in Australia. Parts were hard to come by, as anyone who appreciates the 48 gas here. So here we go, it's stripped back to the bare hull. This is how I purchased it, if you've watched the unboxing. Now you've got the original, everything was purchased brand spanking new from a gentleman from Queensland. Now what have I done at the moment? So I've just gotten the hose from the dual inlets from the rudder. I've put some reflective heat tape for the exhaust, and I've taken out the original engine kill switch, and I've drilled out for the filler cap. So what we're going to do, so we'll go over it bit by bit. We'll start off with all the minor details. So we got all the hardware on. These were all custom machined. These parts here, the exhaust outlets, were matched, and they were machined by Johnny Crash Racing. Now this is the rear rudder assembly. Now this was a 48G, but it was black. Let me double check that, because it has been a while. So I actually deanodized it, cleaned it up, so we've got that raw finish look. It came out okay, could have been better, but you know, end of the day, it is what it is. Then we got flexi shaft, square drive with the stock prop. I put this prop knot on it, but I think I'll get another one made up. Now we actually had to customize this because we didn't have this in Australia. So this was for again, I think it was for a 48G, but we done some machining here, machined it down. Even on the rear of the boat we had to do it as well. Customize the block as well for it, so that took a while to do. We got the exhaust pipe, a tune pipe, all 1 inch. Now this one here, this was the hard one. This was an engineered solution we came up with this 1 inch header. Cost a fair bit, all in stainless steel, 316. Bloody beautiful workmanship. We got commissioned by a local fabricator. Turned out really well. You have to pay. You have to pay to play. That costs a fair bit. All right. Then you've seen this. We done a video on this. This is the all-in-one. So you got your rudder, and you got your throttle, got an on and off switch here, battery compartment. We're running the Futaba, another super response. Now what I did is, a while back I was able to get an extension for the Futabas, so there was plenty, but we can't get them in stock now. So it's a 3D printed tray. Now just quickly, the iKilly couldn't work with the motor because the coil configuration on the motor, it's not going to pick up, so it was kind of a waste of time. So it's actually another killer another Electronics kill switch, but it's under there, all stuck in there, and then we've got the cable that plugs into the harness. So what the owner's going to use, he's probably going to put his his GPS speed tracker on here, bit of Velcro, so we'll be able to utilize that bracket. So if you want to have an in-depth look on how I built this box, go check it out. Steve put the link up on there. So that turned out really well. Then we got the linkages. So that's for the rudder and that's for the throttle linkage. So I bent these all up. So that's out of stainless steel. And that was a link. Look at that. Look at that. That was just a bit of something I had in the box that you don't throw away. So with the fuel, so we've got this filler cap here. So that will go onto a one-way valve. So we'll go through this step by step. That's a one-way valve that goes into here. So you got to heat it up. So that's a Tygon fuel line that we use for these, for those up there. So you got to heat it up, soften it up, push it in, and then that ain't going anywhere. So that's a one-way valve. So here, blow. So that helps pressurize the line. Then we got the IVF bag. So that sits in the base of the hole. Then you got a T-splitter, so that goes to there, and then that goes to the carby. And lastly, let's talk about this. So on to the major change, not upgrade, but change is we've gone from the Omen motor, which is a marine porter in Australia who was local to us up in the Newcastle area, northern, about 2 hours north of Sydney, Australia. So what we've done is, well, I done, and through, so don't forget this is a commission build, this build, this is not my boat. Originally was my hull, but I had a mate of mine, Uncle Bobby, he said, if you build it, I will buy the hull off you. So that's how this all started a couple of years ago. So now this is a Rooster tail engine. So Damo builds race motors for my fifth scales. So I've had them in Frank, the 5T, I've had a 26 Ephra, I had a 34 full mod. So I went to him and I said, hey, you used to build marine, what would you like? Would you like to do another one? So I actually sent him a 300 PUM from Hobby Supplies Australia. They sent it direct to him, and then so what he did is he done a full mod to the motor. What that is, I'm not too sure. You'd have to check out his website, which is Rooster Tail Engines. He modded the 1048 carby. So we have transposed everything. So we've got the cap relocator on here. We've got, I think it's Speedmaster, the engine mount. Now the only thing I found with these was when you went to their mount was that this plate here that comes stock, the space is not tapped, and you've actually got to tap it so it secures, so you can actually put it on, and then also the pull start as well. So that was a weird one. So that was a weird mod. I remember having to do that with the Omen as well, but it was mainly to do with the Speedmaster engine mount system that we use. And then you've got the linkage, which I reckon is awesome. So if you have a look at this, you buy this, forward it to here, pause it here, and this is probably the best way that I've come up with, which is a push for throttle, I get my clearances, that's full lock instead of a pull. So it pushes full throttle, then back down to 0 throttle. So if you have a look here, I think because all the hardware came with it and the mounts as well, I think I just had to tap that just to secure this here. So that's on loosely because it's a nylock. It's just a swivel for the throttle linkage. So that turned out really well. Then also we got the clutch, which was just a clutch system that I purchased off Hobby Supplies Australia. Now the issue that I had were these standoffs here. I had to get Johnny Crash Racing to make them because they weren't big enough because of the Speedmaster, again, the engine mount. That tolerance there was allowed for, so it would pinch down and then it would squash the bell onto the clutch and it wouldn't move. So now she moves perfectly. Then we added a couple of little shims on the end there because it compensates for this mount here as well. So that took a little bit of finessing, but that worked out really well. Now you're wondering, why is the oiler on there? Well, the length of the flexi shaft was apparently too long. So this is really a support for the flexi shaft, and we extended it as well. So that was, see how you got the stuffing tube, it extends past. Now the only solution I could come up with was to use this. So that's a stainless steel brace, all made by JCR. So you probably won't have this issue, but that's the solution that I came up with. So you got the oiler there, acts as a brace, so an extension, so we're able to true up our gap between the collet. So that was the major change over the years, that we went from the Omen to the Rooster tail engine. So check him out. He's on the webs at www.roostertailengines.com.au, and tell Damo that I sent you. Awesome engines, love him in my race vehicles. When he said he could do it for me, we jumped on it straight away, and couldn't be more happier than having a Rooster tail engine in the Rockstar, the unicorn. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by putting in the IVF fuel bag. So I've zip tied everything up. I've got my Y connector on. So that goes to the filler, and then that goes to the carby. It's all solid, going nowhere. So we'll put this in, and then we'll move on to putting in the filler cap. Let's go. So they push in. So we made it modular. You always want to make things modular, so it's easy. If you're going to work on something, it's easy to remove that one thing, even though we've got the motor removed. But then again, that's modular, so it's easy to take out. Well, I find it easier anyway. You do you, boo. You do you. So that's down. So what I might do is I might cable tie that there, have that come up here, and we've actually got to connect that through the hole, and then it goes down, but you got to put your plate on first, Got to put this plate on first, so we actually will do that now so we don't forget. And it's got to go through the hole, and that will heat that up a little bit, and then push that in, and then we'll screw it down. Couple of cable ties. So this is just to get it out of the way. Oh, that ain't going anywhere, so that goes to the carby. And that's the, put that on. Don't forget that. That comes through there. Right, cut this off. Beautiful. I'm going to do this part off camera, but all it is oh, that was there before. All we're going to do is we're going to push it through, heat it up if we need to, down, and just secure it with all the screws. So let me do this. Done. I added a little bit of silicone to get a seal there, even though there is a gasket that sits in there, but that's magnetized, so that's not going anywhere. And then let me see, can I get under there? Here we go. So that's what that looks like. Whoop, flip, and max it in there. It's my connector locked, and that goes to the carby. So that one's done. So I think now we will put, let's throw the motor in, because it's going to go fuel bag, motor, pipe, and then the servos, and guess what? We'll be done. Okay, that's in. That angle is set for the shaft. Let's tighten them up. Beautiful. All right, let's connect the carby hose up, and that should be done. it's that easy. It was in, they're all tightened up, the angle is set. I checked it with the flexi shaft on here, so that's what I meant by that acting as a brace. So that's it, simple as that. It's all been plugged in, as you see. So next is the exhaust. Okay, let's get the pipe installed. Got that outlet. Okay, let's get the pipe installed. Four mil ball drive. Start them off. This is where it comes in handy. The lower one, the bottom one. No issues. Final last word. Quality product from Hobby Supplies Australia. This water block manifold. Beautiful. Nice. Okay, got the outlet. So we've got the new outlet here in the water. And we'll just, I think, bring them under, get them out of the heat. And that is one exhaust pipe fitted. Let's have a look. Beautiful, look at that header. Quality, the angle. My OCD, loving it. Down there. Might as well connect the outlet hoses on the exhaust and on the head. So got this one down here, so that's the in coming from the pickup, and you've got your inlet coming from the pickup as well. There's the outlet, and that's it. As simple as that. Just want to keep it away. Keep it away, keep it away now from the header, so it's going to get hot. Here we go. Next.